I been coping? How have I been doing things? How have I been reading? How do I walk? And when I remember things like this, when people ask things like this, it makes me remember my God-given friends, destiny helpers, right from my primary school days to my secondary school days to tertiary institution. It's not been funny. I kid you not. It's not been funny. Just like I said the other time, if the sickle cell anemia of the thing is something restricted to just the crisis, the aches, it could have been better. But I tell you, it causes some further damages in the body. For instance, my eyes don't ache me. It's not like I have VOC in my eyes. I don't have, you know, aches in my eyes that will require me, unlike the way it affects the joints, you understand? Unlike the way it affects the joint where I will need to go and be taking painkiller. But then there's a part of my sight that has been affected, the retina, which is really something not so easy to live with. Yes. So now that's why I say it's beyond just the crisis. If it's about the crisis, honestly it will have been fair enough. I'm not saying the crisis is good, but then if it's just the crisis alone, in fact, if it's just the crisis alone, I tell you, many people would have not even had the cost to be coming out to talk about the sickle cell of the thing. I tell you, in fact, there will have not been so much concern on sickle cell warriors like this. I tell you, there will have, but it goes further. It causes some other damages to part of the body, which as a result of just imagine any part of the body, it doesn't receive us the supply adequate supply of oxygen. It's dangerous, and it can be any part. It can be any part of the body, internal, external. So if it's just about the crisis, it's still fair. That's what I'm saying. But it has affected lives have been lost, as a result of this. So once again, to potential parents, to lovers, listen, be very careful. AS, whatever, as long as the combination, as long as you are not AA and the person you want to also get married to is not AA, don't go ahead. If you are not AA by genotype and your genotype is not AA and the person you want to get married to is not also AA, the only condition is if you are not sure of yourself, just like where I said in one of my videos, I do say if you are sure of yourself that you are AA, not that you dreamt, not that one prophet told you. You've gone to the lab, you've done it like 2 to 3 times, and you are sure of, and then you are free to go. But in a scenario where you're not sure, make sure you are sure the other person is AA. And why would you not even be sure in this 21st century? You just have to be sure. Not for anything, for the sake of marriage, you just have to be sure. Okay? Now, so if it's just about that, it could have been a bit fair. You know, most times, is there anything you want to use your site for that you want to do in life that doesn't require the use of your site? Is there any? Crossing the road has not been funny. I sometimes I don't know, maybe okay. For instance, I stay in a city where you have a some numbers I may use that way of highways where you will need to cross. Sometimes you don't want to cross. How I just do is okay. If I see that there are people around me and they also want to cross, I'm always being smart enough. And then once I see that they are crossing ASAP, I'm very fast when it comes to walking. So ASAP I join, and then I just climb. I join, and I do the crossing as well. Not because I can't cross myself, but because just to be double sure. Due to the poor nature of the vision cannot be trusted. The sight cannot be trusted. So just like I said, I do more of hearing. Now I look from afar. I look left, right. I see no vehicle is coming. I can do my crossing. But then to be on the safer side, if I see that people are around, I just do the crossing with them. You understand? So that those are one of the little ways I do live my life. Okay, how have I been doing my exams? How have I been writing my notes? Most times I can't see. I needed someone to read to my hearing. You know, I my friends, while in primary school, secondary school, tertiary institution, they read to my hearing. after reading to my hearing, I'm not even able to read the notes even when it's time for exam. That's another difficult, that heartbreaking thing. Most times I write notes in class, especially, most times I write notes in class because I just want to fulfill the righteousness that others are writing. How will I look? I will look unserious. It's just to fulfill, uh, it's just to fulfill a psychological cliche. Let me put it. It's just a psychological cliche. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, yeah. So just when I see people writing, I just tend to join them too. Not because at the end of the day I'll be able to read the notes. In fact, most times my writing is always big. I tend to write. I don't write well within the lines. Just because at the end of the day, when I want to prepare for exam, I still cannot read the notes. It's still any of my very good friends that when it's time for exams, especially when in the tertiary institution, they will need to, okay, we are party, let's go to class, go for night class. Even before exams, when we want to read, you know, then we sit down, then start reading the handouts to my hearing. This is why I respect and I really appreciate one of my very, very good friends. I'll be mentioning his name here. His name is Fadipe Yusuf Olasheni. Yes, in fact, no matter how big the handout is, no matter how big it is, this guy will surely read it to my hearing whenever we're preparing for exams. Thank God for my friends like Joseph Oluwaseun Joshua, Pastor Festus Akinfenwa. These are my very wonderful friends. You know, it's not been funny at all. How do I use the system? You know, how do I? It's not just. It's there are a lot of things I don't just want to be coming to say here right now. So it's not been funny at all. In fact, it's not. How do I read my exams when it's time for exams? Most times, the invigilator, I will inform them ahead. They read to my hearing, and then just for me to know so that I will be able to write. How about how then do you cope for subject or case that are calculation oriented, like the business statistics, mathematics, economics, mathematics, even mathematics in your, so there are a lot of things to it. So that's just this. I'm just saying, you watch out for more of this in my next video because I can tell you, being a sickle cell warrior is not funny at all. Being a sickle cell warrior is not funny. When the exams are fast approaching, you need to just go to the student affairs division, go to your HOD, just reminding them that exams are coming. Please, they shouldn't forget to either print your own question paper very bold. In fact, sometimes later I don't even go to them again because I just prefer just read to my hearing because the more you try to read, the more the eye aches you. So that's just how it's been. That's just how it's been. Yes, and uh, what steps have I taken? You know, visited the medical doctor. They have visited different eye clinic. All what they've been saying is just the same. And, although I do not allow it to weigh me down, I do not allow it to affect me. I do not allow it to have any negative impact on my mental health. Yes, is this something of concern? Yes, it is. But then, I'm always an ambitious person. I'm a go-getter. I just move. I tend to see how I can do my things. Work with it. You know, there are some AI softwares, for instance, when you conduct research, when you write a project or thesis, that you can easily, you know, use. I'll be sharing some of them for some people with eye defects. You can easily talk, and as you're talking, it's writing for you. Okay, so these are some of the aids I use just to make some things easier. If I want to read, I don't read hard copies. I read soft copies, PDFs where I can zoom on my Android because even sometimes trying to read some of my notes on my system is not always that funny because I feel more comfortable using my Android, using my smartphone to read, you know, rather than using the computer. Okay, so these are some ways I do my things. Do my normal, my house, keep my environment tidy. How do I do my things? Okay, for instance, if I want to sweep, I want to clean my you know house, I just clean it up, and then I try to clean as much as like 3 times because I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Okay, so I clean first time, I with the aid of this brush. So even if I want to mop, just make sure, by the time I do that, I'm sure it's at least to an extent it's okay. So these are some ways I just how far I go, to do things for myself, cooking, and a lot of things like that. So